Hey everyone! So today I am here to review the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Concealer. It retails for $25 US, $31 in Canada. It contains 0.58 ounces of product and it is available in 9 shades. It is said to be a heavy-duty, highly pigmented, transfer and water-resistant multitasking concealer. The packaging is a generously sized plastic tube with a needle-sized nozzle that disperses the product by squeezing the tube. This type of packaging really does cut back on the amount of product used. There's a lot less product that goes to waste, especially in comparison to other concealers that have a pump or an applicator that disperses the product. This product is also oil-free, paraben-free, and despite the fact that it claims to be fragrance-free, I did find that it has quite a strong makeup scent to it. The texture is a soft, creamy consistency. It's not too thick and it's not too thin, but it is a heavier concealer, so you can feel it on your skin once applied. With a light application, as if you were applying your regular concealer, it does have a medium to full coverage that is buildable, and when layered and built to a very full coverage, as if you were concealing tattoos, blemishes, highly pigmented scars or spots, etc., be warned that the product can end up looking rather heavy and cakey on the skin. While this concealer is budge proof and it does a good job of holding up against humidity, it does dry down to a degree, but it never fully sets on its own. So there is a risk that it could transfer or move around. When I first got this concealer, I was really hoping that it was going to set to a powder finish, which it doesn't, but applying a powder foundation or a setting powder over top of it does work wonderfully. The shade selection could honestly use some improvement. I feel like they tried to cover the entire skin tone spectrum, but they missed out the in-between shades, if that makes sense. The shade that I picked up for myself was the lightest shade available, but I found it to be too dark and lean too orange to perfectly suit my skin. When I tried to use this concealer to demonstrate tattoo covering, I felt that it leaned too warm and pink against my skin tone, which, I mean, my arms are slightly darker than my face, so... But if I were to use the one shade up, which is described for beige undertones rather than pink undertones, it would have ended up being too dark. So you can probably see the frustration that I mean between the shade selection. The formula itself blends out very easily, and it does a great job of covering up pigmentation and dark circles especially. Typically, I will just apply some of the product to the back of my hand, and then using a dense brush, I'll just pat the product where desired. I found that patting the product on and building as desired rather than just kind of rubbing it into the skin looks the most natural and builds the easiest. You can also use your fingers to apply for maximum coverage, or you can use a makeup sponge like a beauty blender to shear the product out. When I do use this concealer, I typically use it to spot correct only. After a full day's wear, I didn't notice that the product creased or faded at all. I had very light issues with it settling into the fine lines, expression lines around my nose and mouth, but that happens with every single product that I put in that area, so it is not the concealer, it is just my skin. But with all that said, and the fact that it did have excellent coverage on initial application over top of any blemishes, over time I found that the concealer started to look unnatural and almost cakey in those problem areas. So it is a really good concealer for hiding pigmentation, but I wouldn't say that it's the best for working with acne. Overall though, the concealer does do what it claims. It's long-lasting, highly pigmented, and full coverage. The product doesn't move around throughout the day once set with a powder, and it doesn't fade. Once again, my only downfall with this concealer is the shade selection. For those of you who struggle to find the right undertone for your skin tone or a shade that's light or dark enough for you, you may not be able to find a suitable shade with this concealer, which is actually a really important thing, especially with a high concentrated, highly pigmented product like this. You want it to match your skin tone perfectly. But regardless, if you're in the market for a high full coverage concealer, then this one is definitely worth stopping by and checking out. So be sure to let me know in the comments below if you've ever been interested in trying a concealer like this, if you have in the past, or if there's ever been a situation where you've needed to cover a tattoo. As always, don't forget to check out my blog for more details, photos, and swatches, as well as like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. If you'd like to give me a follow, I will have all of my social media listed here, as well as down in the description. As I always say, I hope you found this review helpful, and I hope that you're having a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.